Snow fell softly outside the tall glass windows of Ethan Cole's penthouse, blanketing the city below in a quiet, glittering calm. From 30 stories up, he could see the endless lights stretching across Manhattan, a world that looked alive, but one that had long stopped feeling that way to him. He sat by the fireplace, a half-finished glass of scotch in his hand, the faint hum of a Christmas song drifting from the radio. The same song his late wife used to hum while decorating their tree, before everything had fallen apart. It had been 7 years since that car accident, 7 years since laughter last filled this home. Now, every December 24th came like clockwork, same silence, same emptiness, same ache that no amount of success could erase. Ethan Cole, billionaire, CEO of Cole Industries, had become a ghost haunting his own life. His assistant always asked if he'd like to attend the company's Christmas gala. Every year he declined. The staff sent him luxury gifts. Investors sent wine. Journalists wrote about his mysterious solitude. They all assumed he preferred it that way. But truth was, Ethan hated Christmas. He hated the twinkling lights, the happy families, the sound of laughter spilling from the streets below, because each sound reminded him of what he'd lost: his wife, Lily, and the child she'd been carrying the night she died. Every year since then, he'd gone through the same ritual: pour a drink, stare at the city, pretend not to care that no one was coming. This year was no different, until the knock came. It was soft at first, almost hesitant. Ethan frowned, glancing at the clock. 8:47 p.m. No one ever came here uninvited. Security was strict. The doorman was instructed to let no one through. Another knock followed, firmer this time, echoing in the vast silence of his penthouse. Setting down his glass, Ethan walked to the door, his footsteps heavy against the marble floor. When he opened it, he froze. Standing there was a woman, maybe early 30s, her dark hair damp with snowflakes, a little girl clinging to her coat. The woman's cheeks were flushed from the cold, her eyes wide with apology. I'm so sorry to bother you," she began, her voice trembling. "Our car broke down a few blocks away and my phone died. We were trying to find help, but your building was the only one with lights on. The doorman said maybe you could—" Her words trailed off when she saw who stood before her. Even dressed simply, Ethan Cole's presence was unmistakable. The commanding posture, the sharp blue eyes, the face that had appeared in business magazines countless times. But there was something else in his expression that caught her off guard. Not arrogance, not impatience, but a quiet kind of loneliness. Ethan looked from the woman to the little girl. The child couldn't have been more than 5. She had big brown eyes and a stuffed reindeer tucked under one arm. She shivered slightly, her small nose red from the cold. "Mommy, it's freezing," she whispered. Ethan's chest tightened. There was something about the child's voice, innocent, trusting, that struck a nerve he hadn't felt in years. "Come in," he said finally, stepping aside. "You shouldn't be out there in this weather." The woman hesitated. "Are you sure?" "We don't want to impose." "It's fine," Ethan said quietly. "Please." They stepped inside and warmth filled the air between them. The little girl's eyes went wide as she looked around at the grand penthouse, the towering tree in the corner, the glittering ornaments, the untouched presents beneath it. "Wow," she breathed. "You have a Christmas tree. Mommy, look. It's so pretty." Her mother smiled weakly. "Yes, sweetheart." "It is?" Then she turned to Ethan, embarrassed. "Thank you, Mr. Cole," he replied. "Ethan Cole." Her eyes widened slightly. "The Ethan Cole?" she whispered almost to herself. I've read about you." He gave a small, tired smile. "I hope not recently. They never write anything kind anymore." He led them to the living area, gesturing toward the fire. "You can warm up here. I'll get you both something hot to drink." "That's not necessary," she began, but the little girl's delighted gasp interrupted her. "Hot chocolate." The child squealed, spotting the mug in his hand when he returned. "With marshmallows." Ethan found himself smiling, genuinely, as he handed it to her. "Extra marshmallows," he said softly. "Always the best way." The woman watched him carefully, curiosity flickering in her eyes. "You're—" "Not what I expected," she admitted quietly. He raised an eyebrow. "And what did you expect?" She gave a small laugh. "Honestly, the kind of man who'd turn us away at the door." Ethan's gaze drifted toward the tree again. "Maybe I used to be." They sat by the fire, the crackle filling the silence as the storm howled outside. The little girl, now cozy and content, began humming a Christmas tune, the same one Ethan's wife used to hum. The sound hit him like a whisper from the past. "What's your name?" he asked the girl softly. "Ella," she said brightly. "And this is my mommy, Claire." He turned to Claire, his voice low. "Nice to meet you, Claire." For a moment their eyes met, and something passed between them. Something unexpected, unspoken. Ethan didn't know it yet, but this Christmas would be the one that changed everything. Because the little girl with the reindeer had brought more than warmth to his lonely home. She had brought back life. And before the night was over, Claire would reveal a secret that tied her to Ethan's past in a way he could never have imagined. For the first time in years, Ethan didn't mind the ticking silence that usually haunted his penthouse. The sound of Ella's giggles filled the room as she told stories about her imaginary reindeer friend named Buttons, who apparently loved cookies but hated carrots. Claire sat beside her, hands wrapped around the mug of cocoa Ethan had given her, her eyes soft and tired, the kind of tiredness that came from long years of doing everything alone. She was beautiful, though not in the polished way the women in Ethan's circles were. There was a warmth about her, a quiet resilience that felt grounding. "So," Ethan began, leaning back, "what brings you two out on Christmas Eve? Most people are at home by the fire, not out in a snowstorm." Claire gave a small smile, her fingers tightening around her mug. "We were on our way to my mother's place just outside the city. I promised Ella we'd spend Christmas morning with Grandma, but the car gave up halfway there and my phone died. So we started walking, hoping to find somewhere warm until we could get help." Ethan nodded, studying her. There was something in her voice, an edge of weariness, of quiet struggle, that reminded him of his own emptiness, though for different reasons. "And your husband?" he asked carefully. "Is he waiting there?" For a second, the question hung between them like a fragile thread. Claire looked down, her smile faltering. "No, it's just us." She hesitated, then added softly, "He passed away when Ella was a baby." Ethan's chest tightened. He looked at the child sitting cross-legged on the rug, happily eating a cookie she'd found from a plate by the fireplace. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I know how that feels." Claire looked up, surprise flickering in her eyes. "You've lost someone too." "My wife," Ethan said simply. 7 years ago, Christmas Eve." For a long moment, neither spoke. The fire crackled softly, snow brushed against the windows, and in that silence, two people who had spent too long alone shared something wordless and real. Ella, blissfully unaware of the depth between them, piped up suddenly. "Mommy says people we love don't really leave us. They become stars so we can still see them." She pointed toward the window, where the snow had eased, and the faint glow of stars peeked through the clouds. "Maybe your wife is one of them, Mr. Cole." Ethan felt his throat tighten. He swallowed hard, blinking away the sting in his eyes. "Maybe she is," he murmured. "And maybe she sent you two here tonight." Claire's lips parted slightly, caught off guard by the sincerity in his voice. "You really believe that?" He looked at her then. Really looked at her. "I didn't," he admitted. "Not for a long time. But right now, yes. Maybe I do." They talked for hours after that. About life, loss, second chances, and the strange way fate brings people together. Claire told him she worked as a nurse at a small community hospital. That she was saving up to move closer to her mother to give Ella a better life. Ethan listened, captivated by her honesty. There was no pretense, no hidden motive, just a woman trying to make it through the world, one day at a time. When the clock struck midnight, Ella had fallen asleep on the couch, her reindeer plushie clutched to her chest. Claire started to rise, but Ethan stopped her. "Stay," he said softly. "The storm's only getting worse. You can take my guest room. It's Christmas after all." She hesitated. "I don't want to impose—" "You're not," Ethan replied firmly. "It's been a long time since this house had laughter in it. Let me keep it a little longer." Claire finally nodded, gratitude flickering in her tired eyes. "Thank you." Later that night, when the penthouse had gone quiet again, Ethan stood by the window, watching the snow settle on the city below. For years, Christmas had meant silence. But now, there was the soft sound of a child's breathing from the other room, and it filled the emptiness like a forgotten melody. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring. He didn't know that the woman sleeping just down the hall carried a secret that would soon shake the foundation of his world, a truth connecting them in ways neither could have imagined.